Hey guys, welcome back. Today I want to talk about a topic that requires a tinfoil hat. It was a topic that my good friend Lord Tarkham suggested that I talk about, so I figured now was the time. It might seem kinda crazy at first, but by the end of the video, I think that everything will make a bit more sense. I hope, at least. I believe that Halo Outpost Discovery, that official Halo convention that 343 announced the other day, is a massive tease for Halo Infinite, and may end up playing a pretty huge role in its marketing cycle. So, this sounds crazy.
Unfortunately for us both, I like crazy.
What makes me think something's so outlandish? Well, let me present the evidence. Firstly, there's the timing of the events. They conveniently start in July, less than a month after E3. Now, I think it goes without saying how potentially huge this is. I'd say that we are almost guaranteed to get a significant amount of Infinite news at E3 this year, across all spectrums of the game. I'm still absolutely adamant that the game is going to be dropping in fall 2020, which means that the flighting program needs to start sometime this year if they want to get any real, long-term meaty data out of it and test loads of different iterations and builds of the game throughout different stages of development, like they've said they want to. And so, I reckon they'll announce the beginning of the public flighting at E3, along with a probably very brief gameplay reveal. Now, if this is true, and this does end up happening, and we do get a fall 2020 release date, then that makes this E3 the penultimate E3 before launch, and historically, penultimate E3s have brought with them story teasers. Halo 4 released in 2012, and at E3 2011, we got our first trailer of Chief waking up and getting sucked into Requiem. Halo 5 released in 2015, and at E3 2014, we got the MCC Halo 5 hybrid trailer with Locke on San Helios talking to the Arbiter about hunting down Chief. With all this in mind, if we follow this trend, then by the time Outpost Discovery rolls around, we'll have our first proper taste of Infinite's story. Now, if you were to ask me, I'd say that the absolute focal point of Infinite's story trailers and also marketing is going to be Zeta Halo. The fact that Infinite is set on a Halo again for the first time in the main series since Halo 3 is symbolic of the game itself and what it represents. It's a return to a more familiar Halo in more than one sense, and what better way to market that than having the Halo the game is set on, Installation 07, as the centerpiece of the marketing. Of course, the trailers won't be just panning shots for 2 minutes of a Halo ring. They'll show characters doing stuff on the ring and maybe crash landing on it, but the common denominator throughout all of the marketing will be the focus on Halo. Now tell me that doesn't make any lovely, juicy sense. But that is not all. One of the experiences at the event very, very conveniently ties in with this. The Halo Ring experience is a visually immersive, multi-projector dome-based theatrical experience, featuring a never-before-seen exploration of a Halo Ring, giving fans a brand new appreciation for the sheer scale and magnitude of these ancient installations. Now, if Outpost Discovery were to be a part of Infinite's marketing, how fitting would it be for this experience to feature Zeta Halo? What better way would there be to show off and also market returning to an iconic Halo ring than to literally let us explore it in person and in real life? Given that 343 are going out of their way to make Outpost Discovery feel like a canon thing, where you really feel like you're actually in the Halo universe itself, maybe the lore behind the ring experience is that you're one of the Marines stranded on the Zeta Halo exploring it and trying to unlock its secrets. But we're not done there. There might actually be some evidence for this. If you compare the Halo in the key art for Outpost Discovery to the Halo in the Infinite trailer, you can see that the blue and brown markings are incredibly similar, bordering on identical. This could just be 343 reusing Halo Ring assets, that's always a possibility, but that's honestly not something that I'd expect for something as big as Outpost. Granted, the topology of the two Halo rings do look different, but as my friend Law pointed out, the weather systems on Halos are constantly changing, so that ocean that you see on the Infinite Halo may have just frozen over in the Outpost Halo. I mean, hell, Frankie has already basically confirmed that Infinite is going to have a dynamic weather system, so the evidence just keeps on mounting up. I really do think that this was done intentionally. There are other pieces of art that heavily resemble Infinite in the trailer too. Literally, the second thing that we see in the trailer is this small base on a Halo, which, at least to me, looks really coincidentally similar to this piece of Infinite concept art that 343 gave a load of us when we were back at their studio in September. Maybe it's just me, but I can't shake how similar these two scenes look. There's also this new shot of Chief that people thought was a reveal of his infinite armor, but I'm not too sure. It looks to me like it was just an artist's own interpretation of this famous picture from Halo 2 Anniversary. I mean, the posing is identical, the only real differences are a few minor armor variations and the fact that he's holding a Halo 5 assault rifle as opposed to a BR. So, I really don't think there's anything to see here, but I might be wrong. But then, there's all of the other art that was used both in the trailer and also on the Outpost website. We know that Infinite is taking us back to a more classic art style, and a lot of the assets in both the trailer and also on the site are Reach assets, like directly pulled from Reach assets, from Spartans to Pelicans to Falcons to frigates and more. This lines up pretty damn well, if you ask me, with the Reach-esque Marines that we saw in the Infinite trailer, and also with 343's announcement that fans of Reach's armor customization are going to be very happy. Ultimately, it's clear that Infinite is taking a lot of artistic inspiration from Reach, and that moving forward, sort of general Halo media will be too. Maybe Outpost Discovery's artistic choices were because of this sort of general shift back to a more classic art style, or maybe they were inspired by Infinite specifically. At the end of the day, the artistic similarities to Infinite here really do add up. And finally, I have one more piece of evidence that may or may not mean anything, but people are talking about it, so I figured it was worth addressing. When Outpost Discovery was announced, a friend of mine, Haruspis, speculated that Gabriella, the UNSC AI at the events that we can talk to and that briefs us and walks us through the stuff at the event, could maybe be Chief's new AI in Infinite. Now, I don't think that she is. All the evidence right now points towards it being a new Cortana model, the offensive bias to Cortana's mendicant bias, if you will. But nevertheless, it's an interesting thought. But then, a 343 employee replied to the tweet, saying maybe sooner than that, hint hint. This tweet has since been deleted. Now, of course, when it was tweeted, everyone thought that this was confirmation, but just hold your horses. I really don't think that Gabriella has anything to do with Infinite. Scott Joby, who was the dude who tweeted this, is the manager of print and media product development at 343, which I assume means that he works with like books and comics and stuff. Now, the latest issue of the latest Halo comic, Halo Lone Wolf, which follows Linda and an AI hunting down a rogue Oni scientist, ended with the discovery of a new AI that the Oni scientist was using. Now, very conveniently, this AI happens to be the only AI with a complete record of all human history. Now, that to me sounds like the perfect AI to educate people about the history of the Halo universe, which is what Gabriella will be doing at the Outpost Discovery events. And then on top of that, Lone Wolf is set roughly a year after the end of Halo 3. You want to know what else is set roughly during this time period? Yep, you guessed it, Halo Outpost Discovery. So, believe what you want, but I think it's fair to say that Scott was referring to the next issue of Lone Wolf in that tweet, and not Halo Infinite. That said, that doesn't invalidate any of the other possible connections that Outpost has to Infinite, and as we've established in this video, there's a fair few. Now, whether or not you think all those connections are purely down to chance, or were purposeful and are hinting at something, is totally up to you, but I'm pretty sold on the latter, quite honestly. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments, and if I missed any other potential links to Infinite, then let me know. Alrighty fellas, that's gonna do it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope that I managed to convince you. In the next video, we're finally gonna be pitting the Flood against the Doom Demons in a vicious fight to the death. So get hyped for that bad boy dropping this Saturday, once again featuring Roanoke Gaming. Should be a pretty damn good video if I say so myself. So I want to say a huge thank you to all of my amazing Patreon supporters. Thank you so much for all the support over there, and thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll catch you in the next one.